अन्तर्गृह परिक्रमा सकेको भोलिपल्ट मात्र मिथिलामा होली खेल्ने परम्परा छ। माध्यमिक परिक्रमाको स्वरूप अनौठो छ। बिना निम्तो यसमा लाखौं भक्तजन सहभागी हुने गर्दछन्। सहभागी यात्रीहरू यात्रा अवधिभर खाली खुट्टा नै हिँड्ने गर्दछन्। ढोलक, झायल, करताल, हार्मोनियमको तालमा कीर्तन मण्डली नाच्छन्। जय सिया राम भन्दै भगवानको महिमा गाउँदछन्। यो संगीतमय वातावरणले जो कोहीलाई पनि मन्त्रमुग्ध बनाउँछ। मानिसहरू वर्षभरिका दुःख बिर्सिन्छन्। गृहस्थी जीवनबाट समय निकाले भगवानप्रति आस्था राख्नेहरू तीर्थयात्रामा सामेल हुन्छन्। परिक्रमा आउनु अगावै यसको तयारीमा भक्तजनहरू जुड्दछन्। मानव नै भगवान हो। दुःख परेकालाई सहयोग गर्दा, भोकालाई भोजन गराउँदा पुण्य प्राप्ति हुन्छ भन्ने मान्यता राखेर स्थानीय स्वयंले यात्रीहरूको लागि खाद्यान्न, खानेपानी तथा स्वास्थ्य उपचारको व्यवस्था गरेका हुन्छन्।
स्वास्थ्य शिविर राम्रो छ। हामीले स्वास्थ्य शिविरमा पनि प्रेसरहरू जचायौँ। खाना ओर्न ठाउँ ठाउँमा चिया, पानी, नास्ता सबै बाँडिरहेको छ। हामीले केही उहाँहरूले गरेको पानीहरू पनि युज गर्यौँ। कति ठाउँमा लिनलाई अलिकति मिलेन, कति ठाउँमा लियौँ। स्नान गर्दै गर्दै अनि हामी आयौँ। राम्रो लागिरहेछ।
यात्रीको स्वागत गर्न स्थानीय सबै एकजुट भएर लाग्दछन्। एक विश्राम स्थलबाट अर्को विश्राम स्थल जाँदा स्थानीय सरकार, स्थानीय विभिन्न संघ संस्था लगायत सडकमा लामबद्ध हुन्छन्। उनीहरू परिक्रमाका यात्रीहरूलाई भव्य स्वागत गरेर आफ्नो ठाउँमा भित्र्याउँछन् भने भोलिपल्ट हर्ष बढाई गर्दै विदाई गरेर अर्को विश्राम स्थलमा पठाउँछन्। यात्री तथा धर्मावलम्बीहरू वर्षभरि भएका सबै क्रोध, झै झगडालाई बिर्सिँदै धार्मिक मेलामा रमाउँछन्। विशेष गरेर ज्येष्ठ नागरिकहरू परिक्रमामा सहभागी हुन्छन्। मिथिलामा छोरा बुहारीहरू घर व्यवहार सम्हालेपछि जीवनमा कम्तीमा पनि एक पटक माध्यमिक परिक्रमा गर्ने इच्छा हुन्छ। अधिकांश सहभागी 15 दिनको सामल, लत्ता कपडा, औषधि आदि सँगै बोकेर हिँड्छन्। साधुहरू भने आफूसँग आफ्ना गाई, घोडा, बाँदर सहित परिक्रमा गर्दछन्। यो परिक्रमाले आन्तरिक तथा बाह्य पर्यटनलाई समेत बढावा दिएको छ।
हामीले सांस्कृतिक पर्यटनको दृष्टिले समृद्धिका कुरा गर्छौँ नेपालको प्रसङ्गमा। यसले चाहिँ त्यो आर्थिक समृद्धिलाई पनि, किनभनेदेखि त्यो धेरै ठाउँका मान्छेहरू सम्मिलित हुन्छन्, त्यो चाहिँ पर्यटनको विकास हुन्छ। त्यो एउटा चाहिँ पाटो। अर्को चाहिँ नेपाल भारत सम्बन्धको दृष्टिले पनि यो अत्यन्त नै बलियो सूत्र हो, जसले चाहिँ दुवै देशलाई भावनात्मक रूपले बाँध्दछ। जसरी खोलाको कुनै सीमा हुँदैन, जसरी त्यो चाहिँ आकाशको, इन्द्रेणीको कुनै सीमा हुँदैन, त्यसै गरेर नै त्यो संस्कृतिको कुनै सीमा हुँदैन। त्यो चाहिँ राजनीतिक सीमा भिन्न कुरो हो, सांस्कृतिक सीमा एउटा भिन्न कुरो हो। त्यसैले चाहिँ सम्पूर्ण मिथिलाञ्चललाई त्यो चाहिँ समेट्ने गर्दछ यस परिक्रमाले, अन्तर्गृह परिक्रमाले पनि र त्यो माध्यमिक परिक्रमाले।
यस्तै नेपाल भारत बीचको सम्बन्धलाई पनि बलियो बनाएको छ। यसले नेपाल र भारतको बीचको रोटी बेटीको सम्बन्धलाई संरक्षण, सम्वर्धन तथा प्रवर्धन गर्दछ। मिथिला परिक्रमा हाम्रो संस्कृति, हाम्रो सभ्यता हो। यस्ता संस्कृति र सभ्यताको संरक्षण, सम्वर्धन तथा प्रवर्धन गर्नु सरकारको मात्र नभई हामी सबैको दायित्व पनि हो।
The gorgeous temple of Changu Narayan holds greater significance among the 4 Narayan temples located in different cardinal points of Kathmandu Valley. It is situated on a magnificent hilltop about 16 kilometers northeast of Kathmandu in the Bhaktapur district. Changu Narayan is known for its majestic temple complex, full of magnificent artworks in stone, metal, and wood. As an important heritage site of archaeological and cultural importance, with a history of nearly 1700 years, Changu Narayan was designated as UNESCO World Heritage Site in October 1979. By then, it also received the attention of international observers abroad. One of the first substantial epigraphic evidences of Nepalese history was found in the temple premises consecrated by Lichavi King Mandev, dating back to 464 AD. It shows that Changu Narayan was already developed as an important sacred place long before his time. There are various myths and legends regarding the origin of Changu Narayan. As detailed in the Vansavalis, Changu had already been established as a sacred site around 3rd century AD. The Changu inscription of Vijaya Kamdev, dated 1199 AD, informs that the temple was built by the king Haridatta Varma, happened to be 9th generations before Mandev. The time of Haridatta Varma is estimated as early as 325 AD. During Lichavi period, Changu Narayan was also known as Dola Shikhar, which refers to a mount or hill in the shape of Doli. Gopal Raj Vansavali and the Changu inscription also mention it as Changu, a Newari word that refers to swing-like hill. But the evidences show that this particular place was popular as Changu Narayan from the earliest time, and the same name exists in the society till present. This two-storied temple is of basic Nepalese design with possible emphasis given to masterful ornamentation. The temple may have passed through series of restoration. The present structure was probably constructed in the 17th century. Changunarayan is regarded as one of the masterpieces of Nepalese temple architecture. The older elements have been incorporated during the restorations.
Cities around the world welcomed New Year 2026 with crowds, fireworks, cultural performances, and prayers for a better year ahead from Asia to the Americas. In Rio de Janeiro, more than 1,200 drones and fireworks lit up Copacabana Beach with images including a giant recreation of Christ the Redeemer, while in Dubai, fireworks burst above the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building. Across Asia, dancers and drum performers celebrated at Beijing's Great Wall of China, and in Mumbai, huge crowds packed Marine Drive under tight security, with young revelers expressing hopes for progress on issues such as feminism, racism, and caste discrimination. Meanwhile, in Pyongyang, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un attended a lavish concert with his wife and daughter, marking the New Year at the May Day Stadium. In New York, crowds braved freezing temperatures and heavy security to witness the traditional ball drop in Times Square, while in London, spectators lined the River Thames for fireworks from the London Eye. And in Munich, a first-ever Central New Year's Eve celebration featured a New Year's Eve mile and a laser show around the Siegestor Monument as Germany greeted 2026. Several people have been killed and others injured after an explosion tore through a bar in the Swiss ski resort town of Crans, Montana during New Year celebrations, according to local police. The blast occurred at midnight at Lee Constellation, a popular nightlife venue in the Alps known for drawing tourists during the winter season. UGC footage filmed by a tourist from New York shows the bar engulfed in flames as people ran from the scene streaming moments after the explosion. Authorities say emergency crews worked through the night to contain the fire and search for survivors, though the exact number of casualties has not yet been. U.S. Southern Command recently released 2 videos on X showing airstrikes conducted on December 30 and 31 targeting what it described as drug-laden speedboats attempting to evade interception. The latest deaths bring the U.S. tally of suspected traffickers killed during maritime anti-narcotics operations to at least 115 since Washington intensified its campaign last year. The strikes are part of a broader U.S. push to curb cocaine shipments moving from South America towards Central America, Mexico, and the United States, with routes increasingly extending towards Europe and Asia. Oil tankers were seen anchored along Lake Maracaibo's coastline in northwestern Venezuela on Wednesday, underscoring the country's continued reliance on crude exports despite renewed U.S. sanctions. Maracaibo, often referred to as Venezuela's oil capital, was once a powerhouse of Latin America's petroleum industry, though production has plummeted over the past decade amid economic crisis and deteriorating infrastructure. The United States this week reimposed sanctions targeting companies involved in Venezuela's oil sector in what Washington says is an effort to pressure President Nicolas Maduro and what it calls his illegitimate narco-terrorist regime. The Biden administration accuses Maduro of blocking democratic reforms ahead of the country's planned 2024 elections and of profiting from drug trafficking networks, claims Caracas denies. Venezuela's government says sanctions have deepened the country's economic collapse, while analysts warn tighter restrictions could further squeeze global oil supply at a time of volatile energy markets. Rescue teams from the humanitarian groups SOS Mediterranean have transferred dozens of migrants onto their vessel Ocean Viking after they were initially saved by a supply ship in international waters between Malta and Tunisia. The migrants, whose nationalities have not yet been confirmed, had spent several days at sea after fleeing North Africa in overcrowded boats commonly used by smugglers. The central Mediterranean remains one of the world's deadliest migration routes, with more than 2,500 people reported missing or dead in 2023, according to the UN Refugee Agency. Aid groups say rescue operations are crucial as many European governments have tightened migration policies and restricted NGO activity at sea. Italy, the main entry point for migrants crossing from Tunisia and Libya, has repeatedly pushed for a coordinated EU response, arguing that frontline states cannot handle arrivals alone. SOS Mediterranean says the migrants on board Ocean Viking will need urgent medical checks and a safe port for disembarkation, which has not yet been assigned. Zohran Mamdani, a vocal critic of U.S. President Donald Trump, has been sworn in as the new mayor of New York City, becoming the first Muslim to lead America's largest metropolis. The 34-year-old Democrat took the oath of office just after midnight at an abandoned subway station beneath City Hall, a symbolic nod to the city's infrastructure challenges and his grassroots campaign roots. Mamdani, the son of Ugandan Indian immigrants, first rose to national attention as a state assembly member aligned with progressive movements that opposed President Donald Trump. Mamdani succeeds outgoing Mayor Eric Adams and has pledged to tackle housing shortages, rising living costs, and public transit funding, issues that dominated the campaign. Mamdani's victory marks a shift in New York politics as progressive leaders look to expand their influence ahead of the 2026 U.S. midterm elections. Bulgaria is preparing to adopt the euro as its official currency, becoming the 21st member of the eurozone 2 decades after joining the European Union. The government says the switch will proceed with strict price controls to limit any unjustified cost increases during the transition. Many citizens, however, remain concerned that everyday goods could become more expensive once the lев is phased out. The currency change comes amid ongoing political uncertainty in the country, with repeated elections shaping public debate around the euro. Former world heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua has been discharged from hospital in Nigeria days after a car crash that killed 2 of his close friends, according to state officials. Joshua had been visiting the country over the holidays when the vehicle he was traveling in was involved in a fatal accident outside Lagos. Local authorities say the boxer sustained minor injuries but was kept under observation as a precaution. The deaths have shaken Nigeria's sporting community, where Joshua remains a major figure due to his family roots and frequent visits. Joshua has not yet spoken publicly about the incident. However, officials say he is expected to return to the United Kingdom once he has fully recovered. Lawyers for Brazil's former president Jair Bolsonaro have asked the court to convert his prison sentence for allegedly plotting a coup into house arrest as he prepares to leave hospital after intestinal surgery. Bolsonaro, who led Brazil from 2019 to 2022, was jailed in November over accusations that he tried to overturn his election loss to current president Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, charges he denies. The 68-year-old has been hospitalized in Sao Paulo for complications following a 2018 stabbing, including 2 recent operations on his phrenic nerves to stop persistent daily hiccups that lasted 9 months, according to his wife Michelle. Doctors say further tests will check for gastroesophageal reflux, a condition where stomach acid flows back into the throat, but they do not expect his hospitalization to be prolonged. If approved, Bolsonaro would serve his sentence at home while recovering, though Brazil's Supreme Court has yet to rule on the request. The case has intensified political divisions as Bolsonaro continues to command strong support among parts of the military, police, and conservative voters.
What if I told you a story of a place shrouded in mystery and steeped in stones? A place where warriors were born and raised, and their path through the mountains still remain to this day. Ajirkot Gorkha, the unbeaten kingdom.
हामी पाहुनाहरू आउनु हुँदाखेरि हामी यसरी स्वागत गर्छौं अनि अलि नाचगानहरू देखाउँछौं गर्व लाग्छ जन्मिएछु साथै स्वर्गमा माता नेपालकी छोरी भन्छन् गोर्खाली नाचहरू जस्तो घाटु चुड्काहरू भन्ने चाहिँ विशेष गरी हुन्छ यहाँ
For those seeking a luxurious escape, there are stunning lodges that offer an indulgent retreat, amidst the rugged beauty of this place. But for the true adventurers, this place has it all. From trekking through dense forest of Nage Pokhari trails to exploring ancient temples and learning the rich history of the region. So, what do you fancy? Are you the solo explorer, or do you prefer luxury within nature? Or perhaps you are the one who seeks to witness it all. Well, after all, life is a box of chocolates, and this place is filled with surprises. Welcome to the place where magic and reality intertwine, where the wonders of nature are both breathtaking and awe-inspiring. From the elevations of 300 meters to a towering 8,000 meters, this place will leave you mesmerized and in awe.
Hello, and we welcome you to NTV World's special program Look Back 2025, where we are taking a look at the major events that marked the gone year 2025. I am Bhavana Kesi. From wars, conflicts, geopolitical shifts to political revolutions, changing global economy to natural disasters to innovation to moments that made us smile, we will delve into the events that defined 2025 and tell the stories of the world we live in. Conflict, war, and geopolitical dynamics dominated the global headlines in 2025. The war in Ukraine continued into its fourth year, entrenching a prolonged conflict. A fragile ceasefire in the Israel-Gaza conflict that was reached in mid-year has reduced large-scale fighting. Tensions also flared again along parts of the Thailand-Cambodia border, with a ceasefire reached in the end of the year, easing immediate hostilities.
The Ukraine-Russia war has entered its fourth year, continuing to reshape European security, defense spending, and global energy and food markets. Fighting persists in eastern Ukraine, leaving the humanitarian situation critical, while NATO allies face ongoing military and economic pressures. U.S. President Donald Trump launched high-profile diplomatic efforts, meeting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at Florida and speaking with Russian President Vladimir Putin, saying the sides are closer than ever to a ceasefire. Key sticking points, including the status of Ukraine's Donbas region, long-term security guarantees, and territorial control, remain unresolved. Russian officials have warned that battlefield tensions could affect negotiations, while Kiev insists any agreement must fully protect Ukrainian sovereignty. Meanwhile, the Israel-Gaza conflict remains a flashpoint in the Middle East, with regional tensions threatening to spill over into neighboring countries. Concerns have intensified over potential involvement by Lebanon, Iran, and maritime routes in the Red Sea, raising fears of a broader regional escalation. International observers continue to call for restraint and repeated outbreaks of violence. In Southeast Asia, tensions along the Thailand-Cambodia border flared in 2025, marking a resurgence of a long-standing territorial dispute. The clashes centered on contested areas linked to historical temple sites and border demarcations. A ceasefire was reached towards the end of year, with officials committing to renewed negotiations to resolve the dispute peacefully and prevent further escalation.
Across the globe, 2025 became a year of youth-led protest. Gen Zs took to the streets in Nepal, Indonesia, the Philippines, Timor-Leste, Mexico, Morocco, Kenya, Madagascar, Peru, demanding good governance, accountability, reforms, better services, and an end to corruption. Bangladesh also continued to experience widespread unrest in 2025 with public grievances over rising social and economic tensions in the country.
Protests erupted across multiple countries, reflecting widespread public frustration over ill governance, corruption, economic hardship, and social injustices. In Nepal, Gen Z demonstrations in early September that erupted demanding good governance, accountability, and end to corruption led to ouster of the KP Sharma-led government. The key government offices, including parliament buildings, ministries, and offices within Singapore, were gutted during the demonstrations. Indonesia saw mass rallies calling for stricter anti-corruption measures and clearer economic policies, while in the Philippines, youth-led protests demanded good governance and end to rising economic pressures. In Morocco, young demonstrators took to the streets demanding better public services and structural reforms, while in Kenya, citizens are protesting economic policies and growing inequality. Madagascar also saw activism focusing on environmental issues and governance, reflecting broader concerns over resource management. In Peru, large-scale demonstrations were held against the government and recent changes to pension policies. In Mexico, Gen Z youths rallied against corruption and rising crime rates, calling for stronger law enforcement and reforms to improve public safety. The youth protests in the gone year underscore a global pattern of civic activism, with citizens increasingly mobilizing to demand accountability, transparency, and improved economic and social policies.
In 2025, the global economy faced significant headwinds as U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff policies, including higher import taxes on a wide range of goods, reshaped trade flows and raised policy uncertainty worldwide. The International Monetary Fund repeatedly revised its growth outlook throughout the year amid these developments.
The global economy faced mounting challenges as U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff policies triggered a broad trade war, reshaping international trade flows and heightening uncertainty for businesses and policymakers worldwide. Higher import taxes on a wide range of goods, including electronics, steel, and agricultural products, prompted retaliatory tariffs from major trading partners such as China, the European Union, and Mexico, further intensifying market volatility. Economists stressed that unilateral tariff measures undermined the rules-based international trade system and could have long-term consequences for global economic stability. The International Monetary Fund repeatedly downgraded its global growth forecasts, citing the combined impact of protectionist measures, escalating trade tensions, supply chain disruptions, and rising inflation. Concerns were raised that the prolonged tariff war can slow investment, raise costs for consumers and businesses, and stall economic recovery in both developed and emerging markets across the world. In 2025, global financial markets were marked by significant price movements as both the US dollar and gold grabbed investor attention. The US dollar reached record highs against several currencies. Gold prices also surged to historic, with the precious metal repeatedly reaching record price levels above $4,000 per ounce. This combination of currency and commodity trends reflected a complex investment landscape in 2025, where market participants balanced the rising influence of dollar dynamics with the enduring appeal of gold as protection against uncertainty.
2025 was one of the hottest years on record. Extreme weather struck globally. Severe floods displaced millions in South Asia, Southeast Asia, Europe, and East Africa. Cyclones and storms were more frequent, while wildfires raged across North America, the Mediterranean, and Australia. scientists warn that temporary breaches of 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels are becoming increasingly frequent, highlighting the escalating impact of climate change.
Marine ecosystems face severe stress as marine heat waves intensify, causing widespread coral bleaching and disrupting fisheries. It has been warned that the loss of reef-based fish stocks threatens food security and the livelihoods of millions of coastal communities, particularly in Southeast Asia and the Pacific. Severe flooding displaced millions across South Asia, parts of Europe, and East Africa, destroying crops and infrastructure and worsening existing humanitarian crises. Countries including Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Thailand, and Colombia were particularly affected, with heavy rainfall inundating urban areas, sweeping away homes, and disrupting transportation and power networks. These floods also highlighted the increasingly erratic rainfall patterns. Large-scale wildfires in North America, the Mediterranean, and Australia, fueled by prolonged droughts and extreme heat, not only destroyed property and ecosystems, but also contributed significantly to carbon emissions, creating a feedback loop that further accelerates global warming. Meanwhile, stronger and wetter cyclones and tropical storms in the Indian Ocean and the Pacific highlighted the link between rising sea surface temperatures and storm intensity. Coastal communities faced fatalities, widespread displacements, and economic losses, exposing the limits of existing infrastructure and disaster response systems in the gone year.
Interestingly, in the gone year, artificial intelligence reshaped global dynamics, moving from a technological tool to a core political and geopolitical issue. Governments around the world raced to regulate AI as concerns grew over deepfakes, automation, and data control, which posed risk to privacy, security, and personal details.
Countries are increasingly viewing AI as a national security and economic priority. The potential for AI to disrupt labor markets, manipulate information, and influence elections has elevated it to the top of policy agendas, while international competition for AI leadership is reshaping geopolitical dynamics. The European Union, the United States, China, and other major powers have unveiled frameworks addressing data privacy, ethical AI use, and algorithmic transparency, although differences in approach are raising questions about global coordination. At the same time, governments and multinational organizations are exploring cooperative mechanisms to establish international norms, highlighting AI's dual nature as both a tool for innovation and a potential source of instability. The year 2025 showed AI is no longer solely a technology sector issue, but a force shaping diplomacy, governance, and security strategies worldwide.
In 2025, space exploration reached new milestones, from lunar and Martian missions to advanced satellites monitoring climate and communications. The year also witnessed American singer Katy Perry performing a live song from orbit, blending science and entertainment in a moment that captured global attention.
Space agencies across the globe reported significant achievements in 2025, highlighting both scientific breakthroughs and cultural milestones. NASA, alongside private partners, launched new robotic and crewed missions to the moon, advancing efforts to establish a sustained human presence. At the same time, Russia's Roscosmos conducted crewed orbital missions and advanced lunar research projects, reaffirming its role as a key player in global space exploration. Beyond lunar missions, China and the United Arab Emirates expanded Mars exploration programs, deploying orbiters and surface probes that provided critical data on planetary geology, atmospheric conditions, and potential signs of past water. These missions aim not only to answer fundamental questions about planetary formation, but also to lay the groundwork for future human colonization and interplanetary research. Adding a cultural dimension to 2025's space achievements, American singer Katy Perry performed a live song from orbit, broadcast to audiences on Earth. The event, organized in collaboration with space agencies, symbolized a unique intersection of science, technology, and global culture. Officials said the performance was designed to inspire younger generations to ignite public interest in space exploration.
The world of sports offered moments of triumph. The SC clinched its first UEFA Champions League trophy. Preparations for the expanded FIFA World Cup also continued, promising a more global tournament in 2026.
India marked the return of the ICC Champions Trophy after an 8-year gap by lifting the title for a record third time in the UAE in March. Virat Kohli's century against Pakistan had lit up the group stage, while Rohit Sharma anchored the final with a composed 76 off 83 balls as India chased down 252 to beat New Zealand by 4 wickets. In women's football, England successfully defended its European crown by beating Spain on penalties in the Swiss city of Basel in the final of Euro 2025. England's victorious Lionesses later celebrated their dramatic triumph along with tens of thousands of ecstatic fans outside Buckingham Palace in London. In club football, Paris Saint-Germain PSG claimed its first UEFA Champions League trophy in 2025, thrashing Inter Milan 5-0. The victory not only boosted the club's international profile, but also signaled France's growing influence in European football. Preparations for the expanded 2026 FIFA World Cup continued, with organizers planning to accommodate 48 teams across the host countries, the USA, Mexico, and Canada. Infrastructure projects including stadium upgrades, transport networks, and fan accommodations are underway. Officials emphasize that the expanded format aims to make the World Cup more global and inclusive, while also presenting logistical challenges in scheduling, security, and coordination among host nations. However, fan groups have branded the ticket prices as outrageous, with some prices reportedly 3 times higher than those seen at the previous edition of the tournament held in Qatar in 2022.
The year 2025 also witnessed an unusual mix of unusual and bizarre old events that captured public attention worldwide. Among them, a daring heist at France's museum topped headlines, while the craze for Labubu dolls became a global cult.
The daring heist at France's Louvre Museum in 2025 captured global attention as thieves reportedly targeted rare and priceless artworks under highly sophisticated circumstances. Authorities said the operation involved careful planning, advanced tools, and an unprecedented breach of security protocols, raising concerns about the vulnerability of even the world's most iconic cultural institutions. In response, museums and galleries across Europe and beyond tightened security measures, implementing advanced surveillance systems, reinforced display cases, and stricter access controls. The investigation into the Louvre heist continues, with authorities vowing to recover the stolen pieces and bring the perpetrators to justice. If 2025 had a face, it was undoubtedly made of vinyl, with pointy ears, big eyes, and a grin with precisely 9 teeth. Created by Hong Kong artist Ka-Sing Leung and adapted from picture book series The Monsters, the slightly scary-looking Labubu could be seen hanging from everybody's bags in the gone year. Nano Banana and the Studio Ghibli trend emerged as one of the most heartwarming viral moments of 2025, captivating audiences worldwide. Memes also took center stage in 2025, with viral phrases such as "Trump take egg" reflecting public anxiety over inflation. Election of Zohran Mamdani to the post of New York mayor also highlighted the expanding role of digital platforms in shaping political influence, particularly among younger voters, and underscored how internet culture increasingly intersects with contemporary politics. These viral phenomenons of 2025 highlighted how pop culture and digital tools can combine to create shared, uplifting experiences.
That was a recap of 2025, a year that was a mix of conflict, social changes, economic shifts, innovation, and unexpected moments to viral crazes that captured the world's attention. Now, as we turn our eyes to 2026, we hope this year brings peace, progress, and joyful moments. As we say goodbye, we'll leave you with the celebrations of cities welcoming the 2026 with dazzling fireworks, musical performances, and jubilant gatherings. Have a great year ahead. Nepal's festivals are like colors on a canvas. Communities celebrate occasions that are as diverse as the country itself. These festivals hold deep personal meaning for individuals, going far beyond mere celebration. They are not just events. They are emotional, cultural, and spiritual lifelines that nurture identity, community, and inner happiness. For Nepalis, every festival, whether it honors gods, ancestors, nature, or the cycle of seasons, is ultimately a celebration of life itself. Birth, life, and death are all celebrated with utmost joy and separate rituals as per the communities. It's a reminder that life, like the changing seasons, is full of both light and shadow, and each festival teaches to embrace both with gratitude.
हरेक चाडपर्वमा एउटा एउटा हैन धान रोप्दाखेरि खेतमा हामी पूजा गरेर हुन्छौं, धान थन्काउँदा हामीले हवन गरेर हुन्छौं, नुहाई खाने भनेर भनिन्छ, नवान्न प्राशनको विधानहरू छुट्टै छ। त्यो सम्पूर्ण कुराहरूले हाम्रो प्रकृतिमा पनि त्यति नै सुप्रभाव पार्छ र मान्छेको शरीरमा, मनमा र आत्मासम्म पनि यसले सुप्रभाव पार्छ, आनन्द दिन्छ, सत र चित, राम्रो आनन्द र चिरकालसम्म रहने टिकाउ आनन्द दिन्छ भन्ने मान्यताले गर्दाखेरि यो सबै चाडपर्वहरू हामी मनाइरा हुन्छौं।
Major Hindu celebrations like Dasai and Tihar unite families in devotion and joy and is celebrated by majority of Nepalis. While Buddha Jayanti, Loshar, Sakela Udhauli, Shakela Ubhauli, Maghi Shankranti or Maghi showcase the spiritual and cultural vibrancy of Buddhist, Kirat and indigenous communities. Festivals such as Indrazatra, Gaizatra and Yomari Punhi blend history with celebration. For women, Tees and Rishi Panchami serve as expressions of faith and sisterhood. And in the Tarai, Chhat embodies purity, discipline and devotion to the sun and nature.
भौगोलिक हिसाबले सानो भइकन फेरि कस्तो भने जात जातिको हिसाबले पनि थुप्रै ट्राइबहरू भएको, यो सबै एउटै जातिको मात्रै छैन, तर हामीका धार्मिक सहिष्णुता छ, रिलिजियस टलरेन्स भन्छौँ, त्यो विश्वलाई हामीले दिएको एउटा उदाहरण हो। हामीका हिन्दूहरूको चाडपर्व पनि बौद्धहरूले पनि मनाउँछन्, इस्लामहरूले पनि मनाइराखेका हुन्छन्। नितान्त हिन्दूहरूको जस्तो लक्ष्मी पूजाको कुरा गर्यो, दशैँकी कुरा गर्यो, यहाँ राष्ट्र प्रमुखहरू भएको बेलामा हिन्दूहरू बाहेक अन्य धर्मावलम्बीहरू पनि टीका थाप्नलाई हामीका आशीर्वाद लिने चलन छ, त्यो लिनलाई गइराखेका हुन्छन्।
Festivals here reflect its rich cultural diversity and deep sense of community. Shared laughter, music and rituals foster emotional healing and strengthen social bonds. Experts say gatherings and celebrations nurture positivity, hope and meaning.
यो त एकदमै ठुलो कस्तो कुरा रहेछ भने यो रिचार्ज गर्ने भन्छ नि, हामी गरिरहेको परम्पराबाट गरिरहेको यस्ता कार्यहरू गर्दा चाहिँ नि हामीमा के हुन्छ त स्वतस्फूर्त रूपमा हामी चाहिँ नि एकदम फेरि अब हामीलाई एउटा भित्रबाट पनि शान्ति मिल्छ, सुख मिल्छ, त्यसकारण यो चाहिँ आवश्यकै चीज हो।
Amid modernization, festivals remain vital anchors connecting people to their culture and roots. The togetherness of families, the glow of butter lamps in monasteries during Loshar, and the rhythm of dhime drums in Nevari processions all tell the same story. Nepal is a land where festivals are the very heartbeat of its people.
After around 7 hours drive from federal capital Kathmandu comes Dhunche Bazar, the district headquarters of Rashwa. Further ahead from Dhunche, demographically and ethnic mix, we reach Kerung custom point along Nepal-China border. However, we are headed to another destination. We are going to Gosai Kunda, a beautiful pilgrimage situated 4,380 meters above the sea level, and a perfect mix of adventure and spiritualism. Our trek begins from this very place. With excitement and energy alike, our journey to Gosai Kunda starts from Dhunche Bazar. This is a famous religious tourism site, especially twice a year on Jane Purnima and Ganga Dasara fair in Jester. Thousands of devotees throng this holy place. The first 1 hour of the trek up to Ghatte Khola is largely straight. This is where pilgrims take a tea break and some rest to prepare themselves for the uphill walk. There's a mini Gosai Kunda here as well. Uphill walk through the pine forest and natural diversity continues as we approach few lodges on the way. After nearly about 2 hours of trek, we reach Deurali. Another resting place for pilgrims and trekkers. Sip of tea in this freezing weather is a luxury these small hotels offer. This is also a well-known viewpoint to see the southern districts. The tharpus or shelters built and preserved by the Gosai Kunda Area Development Committee are found almost everywhere on the way. With more excitement than fatigue, the journey continues from Deurali. It's still a long way, and it's difficult to reach our destination today itself. Fatigue is visible on the faces of these travelers. In an hour or so, we reach Dingsa. This is a junction of Gosaikunda with another route mixing here. Tharpus and light snacks are available here as well. The trail, though uphill, is not very difficult. The natural beauty of the area, mild weather, and many travelers make the arduous journey much easier. Chandanbari is the next place after about an hour's walk. This is a small but beautiful hamlet for tourists. Cozy but clean and hygienic hotels are found here. Many tourists travel up to Chandanbari even at times other than the two famous religious fairs take place. The oldest yak cheese production factory of a Dairy Development Corporation is here. Even the trekkers take a test of the famous yak cheese produced in Chandanbari. The yak herds also make the environment exciting. Many travelers who cannot bear the fatigue anymore take overnight stop here and head to Gosaikunda the next morning. The place is also known as Singh Monastery, named after the ancient monument itself.